What's going on, all you Caesar enthusiasts out there? Your two favorite chimpanzees are back tonight, and we are talking about the 2011 film that kicked off the trilogy. And it all starts with the first installment, directed by Rupert Wyatt. We're talking about 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
That's right. These wild boys are back. We, in typical fashion, we like to going back reviewing franchises. Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible. We did the Daniel Craig Bond movies. This time around, we're doing the Planet of the Apes movies. The movies I've never seen. I'm watching for the first time, and this guy obviously loves them, so he's revisiting them. And we're back here to review, the trilogy leading up until the brand new film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, coming out in the coming months.
Yeah, well, better time than now than to revisit, the first three movies. And, Kingdom is going to continue this on with the new director. Wes Ball is going to do that one. But this starts with Rupert Wyatt's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and it kicks off the character of Caesar that carried throughout the three films of the trilogy, of course, played by Andy Serkis, who basically did the motion capture work for this and really gave life to Caesar, who you see behind Logan there. And that's the main character. This one starred James Franco, of course, as Will Rodman, who is working in a laboratory. He's a scientist, and they've been experimenting with primates, and they've seemingly found a cure for Alzheimer's, which his dad, played by John Lithgow, has. So he had been hoping to find the cure, and eventually they come up with this miraculous cure through, using DNA technology and using the primates and that. And eventually things go haywire, though, and it leads to a big setback. But it's all about James Franco and his relationship with Caesar. Caesar being, very young, and James Franco's character Will Rodman basically taking him as a infant and raising him. Something happens at the lab, and Caesar probably would have been killed. Will Rodman is able to capture him and keep him and bring him home, and keep him alive basically, and brings him back and continues the study that he was doing at the lab.
I don't know what's more unbelievable. James Franco was a Hollywood A-lister in 2011 or him playing a scientist.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
know.
we were watching this. I'm like, oh, I forgot about James Franco and being blacklisted and don't hear about him anymore. But yeah, him playing the scientist and doing this research on Alzheimer's is, looking at this with his dad, played by John Lithgow, suffering from this and not doing very well. And then, getting the substance, he starts to heal and get better. And, it really dives into that. And then also what you're talking about with Little Caesar, the introduction to him, his mom gets killed at the lab that Will's working at. So Will brings him home and raises him. And you'll see Caesar get smarter and smarter, much like a human.
They developed this substance that stimulates brain repair miraculously. That's what he's, using for his dad, cure him of his Alzheimer's. But it's also leading to Caesar becoming increasingly smart as time goes on and learning things in a exponential pace, and just ultimately becoming, even more smarter than anybody could imagine, and even overtaking humans, basically, which is why you get Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because they get so evolved by the end of this first movie. They're able to, go and make their own home on Earth here, and, battle against the humans that are trying to, basically capture them or kill them. And that's what happens in the end here. But anyways, we see Caesar as he grows old. There's a segment in the beginning where he goes from an infant, and then he's at home, and they'd set up a obstacle course for Caesar to use at the house with ropes that he can swing through, and he goes all the way to the window and he can watch out the window. And one day, John Lithgow, Will's dad, is outside, and he's having a moment with his Alzheimer's. He's in a car. He's backing up. He's hitting the car behind him, and it's the neighbors. The neighbor gets in his face. Caesar sees this and goes downstairs and attacks the guy. So that, sets off this, the humans wanting to capture and kill Caesar. and it leads to the big story with Caesar ultimately getting put in this facility. Then you see Draco Malfoy himself come over and basically play the same character that he was in Harry Potter.
That's pretty funny. Then you have Brian Cox, who's like the head of the bad guy, overseeing this, ape primate facility where Caesar's locked up in. And Tom Felton, otherwise known as Draco Malfoy, obviously another bad guy in this movie, but he was pretty fun. Had fun with this role. But seeing Caesar locked up, he's trying to figure out a way to get out of there. First time being around other apes, so he's survival mode. And there's some pretty big, gnarly apes that are in this primate facility that are, it was like prison basically. It was cell block, and they're all coming out, stretch their legs, and they start fighting and stuff like that. Sets up some really great scenes. But I will say the CGI visual effects were incredible. Like I couldn't even tell these were not real. It was all computer generated. The effects, motion capture, Andy Serkis did. Wearing the headset and the dots and the suit and everything, it just looks incredible. For being 13 years old, the effects look amazing.
This set off an FX revolution really from this movie forward. And as the series goes, it gets even better. But yes, for 2011, it looks magnificent. It looks great. Andy Serkis, the performance that he puts on, is able to show emotions with Caesar and as he starts communicating. And it blew me away seeing this in 2011. It was cutting edge. It looked great, and it still holds up today. It doesn't look quite as good as maybe some of the brand new stuff that we've seen, but it's pretty damn impressive. And the effects work here as the series goes on gets even better throughout each film. But it all started from this one. In addition to the special effects here, just the scope of the film and the way that they portrayed San Francisco here with the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a big set piece in there towards the end. I loved how they incorporated that. And, with San Francisco and that being close to the woodland area where the apes escape to and make their home too, which was really cool with the big trees, the big redwoods. All the performances were great. James Franco as a scientist, not very believable, like you said. But otherwise, Tom Felton as Dodge Lane, and he was a real asshole, and you kind of rooted for the apes and Caesar there to get their revenge on him because he was just walking around, tasing them and cattle prodding them for no reason, just to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Brian Cox, he had his white hair spray painted brown here to make him a little younger, which was funny. But still good to see them. But it's all about the apes in this movie, of course. That's what you're coming to see, and that's really where this movie shines, and that's really what made this film really enjoyable and kick off this new trilogy. And the successful films, a franchise that's been going on since back in the day with the Charlton Heston films. Movies that I've watched a couple of but wasn't super into. But with these new movies, it really got me into the franchise and has me excited for the upcoming movies to come here too. And for you watching these for the first time, I wanted to hear your thoughts on them and hope that you'd feel the same way I did when I watched them back in the day. And I'm happy that it sounds like you did.
I'm really bummed that I was sleeping on these because I had a really great time with this. The first movie, just watched it for the first time. Great performances. CGI blew me away. I love the character of Caesar, the introduction of him, what he goes through, how he brings all the apes together to take on humans at the end, the whole set pieces. Directing was really well done. I like the writing. I like the bad guys in this movie. There's a lot on the line. Stakes are high. You feel it. And the whole battle scene towards the end of the film on the Golden Gate Bridge is incredible, going up in the redwoods. And the final shot of the movie was incredible with Caesar on the horse overlooking everything. Oh man, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm really bummed I was sleeping on this for so long, but thankfully, getting around to it right now and talking about it, had a great time with this, and makes me more excited for the upcoming films. So with that being said, I'm gonna give Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Caesar hair pieces.
This movie kicked off a great new franchise here, and the movies get better as this trilogy goes on. We had Rupert Wyatt direct this one, and it goes from Rupert to the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Reeves. And you'll see what he does with this film. He really takes it to another level here with the evolution, watching the apes slowly start to take over, what happens when that happens. So it's just exciting to know what happens. I've already seen these, and I'm going to be really looking forward to your thoughts on the next couple because it amps things up here. With that being said, I had a great time with this movie. It still holds up. CGI looks great. and I am going to give Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Caesar hair pieces.
But I want to hear from all you wild apes out there. What did you like about Rise of the Planet of the Apes? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite film in the series? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild rascals on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
And that's right, we're going to be back to review the next installment in the series. We're talking about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And we'll be back real soon to review that. And we'll be back for the final movie, War for the Planet of the Apes. And that all leads up into the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So these boys are getting ready for a new installment in the franchise, a new take on it, and can't wait to see what the new one's going to be like. So that being said, we will see you guys for the next Cinephellas movie review. I'm Uncle Henry Hill.
And I'm Uncle Logan Heston, signing out until the next movie review. Cheers!
Cheers!